I just got yelled at by my father because I tried to make some mac and cheese in the kitchen. Um, a little too late because they already made dinner. So I got bickered at. And, anyways, welcome to Humankind Part 2. There's this really good song I've been listening to by Snoop Dogg, and it has Miley Cyrus as a feature called Ashtrays and Heartbreaks. I definitely highly recommend that song. Alright. Wrath of God. The sky cracks open, they call it wrath of God, but it's not divine. Not exactly. It's the world cleaning house after we vanish. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanoes, the planet doesn't mourn us. It remembers we were here, laughs at our fragility, and then shakes us off like fleas. This episode shows us the destruction in measured terms wind speeds, Richter scales, molten rock flows, but reality is a fever, chaotic, beautiful, terrifying. I can picture this cities flattened, forests shredded, coastlines redrawn, bridges collapse in slow motion, trees uproot themselves, smashing cars and houses in their ancient patience. Electricity flickers and dies, and above all, the sky screams, howls, roars like a predator, having a fit of ecstasy. The humans, of course, are gone, and yet the scars we left, the cities we built, the monuments we worshipped, they shatter spectacularly, gloriously. The episode talks about probability, about statistics, but what they can't capture is the poetry of ruin. Wind howling through shattered windows sounds like chanting. Debris dances across highways. Volcanic ash blankets the suburbs like snow. Rivers shift, landslides tumble, and I imagine standing on a hill, heart pounding, adrenaline sparking, and seeing the world unmake itself while I'm still alive to feel it. There is ecstasy in destruction. It's a reminder of impermanence, of hubris, of everything we pretended would last. Concrete cracks, steel groans, nature stretches its fingers into every crevice of our arrogance, and the silence after. The silence hums in your ear is louder than any alarm, louder than any voice. Wrath of God, not judgment, not revenge, just inevitability accelerated. The planet moves and reshapes and remakes itself, and in the chaos there is music. Terrible, ecstatic, unstoppable music. And I can't stop thinking we were temporary tenants, reckless tenants, and now the world is reasserting itself, and we become nothing, ultimately. Toxic revenge. The world tastes metallic. It smells like acid and iron and something burning in silence. Toxic revenge, the chemicals we left behind don't forgive. They seep, they crawl. Factories leak their poison into rivers that have forgotten how to run, and the clouds taste like fever. The episode calls it contamination, hazard zones, levels of toxicity, but that's just the numbers. The truth is alive in the bubbles, the froth, the sheen of sludge spreading across empty streets. I can see it grass twisted green, black, fish twitching in rivers that are now mirrors of our hubris. Trees lean away from invisible currents of acid rain, birds perch on rusted smokestacks, their feathers painted in chemical iridescence, eyes glowing like embers. Excuse me. And the wind carries whispers of what we thought we controlled. It hisses through broken windows and empty tanks, a warning, a song, a requiem. The factories crumble, but they leave behind the residue of human arrogance. Rust blooms on metal like cancer. Pipes twist and spit chemical ghosts. Even the soil tastes of memory, sticky with the fingerprints of our carelessness. And the world moves around it, patient, indifferent, beautiful in the most terrifying way. I imagine walking through it, heart hammering, seeing the shimmering haze over empty highways, inhaling the scent of rust and poison. Nature is alive, not in sympathy, not in revenge exactly, but in the ecstasy of inevitability. Our toxins are a message. You were temporary tenants, and the earth hums slow and electric as it reclaims what we tried to dominate. Toxic revenge isn't punishment, it's prophecy, a warning written in rivers, puddles, rust, and rot. And the humans are gone, and the chemicals hum their strange, unholy music, and the world laughs quietly, beautifully, endlessly. Crypt of civilization. They buried themselves alive, trying to speak to the future. Microfilms, records, bronze plates, artifacts sealed in a crypt meant to outlast time. Crypt of Civilization. The episode is clinical, timelines, preservation techniques, decay rates, but reality hums differently. I imagine opening the vault, heart hammering and seeing eternity, staring back, blank, indifferent. Our knowledge curls into dust, words twist, images warp. Everything we try to preserve decays in silence. The crypt becomes a mausoleum of ambition. Microfilms curl like dying snakes. Bronze plates tarnish. Artifacts rot in slow motion. Even the air smells like a warning. You cannot cheat time. I can hear it humming through the sealed chambers, the quiet, electric pulse of futility. I picture the people who planned this, careful, meticulous, convinced that someone someday would understand them. But no one comes. The crypt is a museum of absence. Even our messages are just echoes twisting in empty air. Outside, the world moves on without notice, indifferent, chaotic, perfect in its patience. And yet there is beauty. Terrible, ecstatic beauty. The crypt is a monument to both hubris and hope, a frozen fever, of human obsession. Dust particles dance in slanted light. Shadows shift like serpents. The crypt hums, and in that hum you realize we were temporary tenants. The earth is eternal. Time does not care. Never has, never will. Crypt of civilization, not punishment, not prophecy, just the quiet, patient collapse of everything we ever tried to hold on to. And the world just keeps spinning round. The Last Supper. Empty tables, silverware tarnished, plates cracked, wine turned to rust, and forgotten glasses. They call it the Last Supper, but it isn't about food, it's about absence, about the slow collapse of ritual when no one is left to witness it. The episode tracks decay like a scientist's, timelines and rot rates, but that's too neat. The truth is chaotic, jittery, crawling through the cracked linoleum floors and broken chairs. I imagine walking through a dining hall, heart pounding, the air thick with the smell of damp wood and mold. Tables sag under their own weight, chairs topple without notice, the chandeliers groan and sway like old ghosts dancing to a rhythm only they can hear. Insects march across tablecloths, glittering like tiny soldiers of entropy. In the silence, it isn't quiet, it hums, it sings, it reminds me that all human tradition is fragile, ephemeral, temporary. The kitchens are worse. Rusted pots, spoiled food, the remnants of meals we once celebrated now leaking into the floors, seeping into the walls. The humans are gone, but the architecture remembers. Windows crack and shiver, and the sun slices through in golden, toxic beams, illuminating the decay in slow motion poetry. Even the smell of rot feels alive, electric, a pulse under my skin. It is terrifying and beautiful. The Last Supper isn't about mortality, it's about hubris, about the pretense that we can make permanence out of ritual, order, and ceremony. We thought meals would last, we thought our laughter would echo, but entropy hums louder than any human song. The plates rattle, the chairs lean, the chandeliers sway, and the feast is over. And in the silence, I realize we never really existed here. Only the decay remains. Only the ghost of of our rituals trembles, dancing in the dust and the light. Home wrecked homes, houses, roofs sag, foundations crack, well, walls breathe. They call it home wrecked homes, but it's not just houses, it's the slow betrayal of everything we thought safe. The episode charts timelines of decay, wood rotting, pipes bursting, termites devouring, but reality hums differently. The homes are alive now, laughing quietly as their former occupants vanish. Picture it. Suburban streets empty, lawns overgrown, fences twisted into impossible shapes, kitchens leak water, appliances groan like tired beasts, windows shatter, sunlight falling in jagged shards across soaked carpets. The smell of rot is electric, filling every room. Sorry, guys, I got distracted there. Filling every room, crawling into my chest. making the heart race. In the furniture, it slouches, leans, and topples like tiny conspirators in the collapse. The episode is technical, cataloging structural failure, but hallucination is fevered. Picture closets spilling clothes onto floors like slow motion waves, cabinets sagging under invisible weight, ceilings collapse in chunks, sprinklers drip erratically. In the wind moves through hallways like a specter, rustling papers, rattling blinds, humming its quiet, terrible song of inevitability. It's terrifying and beautiful. Every home becomes a monument to entropy, to absence, to the arrogance of thinking safety is permanent. The humans are gone, the homes are alive. Termites march like tiny soldiers, vines curl through walls, wood twists, metal rusts, drywall collapses, and in the silence the houses whisper you were temporary tenants. Home wrecked homes, not punishment, not judgment, just slow, relentless, ecstatic reclamation. The world hums, and we are nothing. Alas, I have something on my chin. So is it? No. Okay. Guys, I'll be honest, like I need to get better prepared for videos. It looks like I just snorted cocaine, but my skin is actually breaking out for some reason. Um, anyways, next up we got Holiday Hell. And I'm gonna smoke a little bit. Do yes. It's so tiny that it's so hard to keep track of. Holiday Hell. Pumpkins rot, tinsel twists into itself. Christmas lights flicker and die in tangled knots. Fireworks fizz silently, frozen mid explosion. They call it holiday hell, but it's not about holidays. It's about the collapse of joy, the slow decay of ritual when no one is left to celebrate. The episode is clinical, cataloging rot and corrosion, but the reality is feverish, jittering, alive in absence. Suburban streets lined with skeletal decorations, wreaths drooping under dust, fake snow curling into soggy piles. Skeletons of jack-o'-lanterns grin through cracked windows, their carved teeth sharp as memory. The wind moves through abandoned homes like a conductor rattling doors, jingling ornaments carrying the ghost of laughter we can no longer hear. The trees and yards twist, roots prying apart sidewalks, cardboard and Santas collapse into themselves. Snowmen melt into mud, candy wrappers cling to waterlogged lawns, and the insects they swarm like a tiny rebellion marching across broken lights and warped plastic, reclaiming what we thought was permanent. It is terrifying and electric. The joy we created turns into a kind of hallucination. The decorations twitching, shadows moving like they have purpose, the streets humming under the weight of absence. Holiday hell isn't punishment, it's inevitability. Entropy is the only guest at this endless feast. And I imagine standing there, hard hammering, watching the streetlights flicker, and I die. Nature whispers through the gutters, through the broken doors, through the decaying ornaments. The holidays continue without us, grotesque, beautiful, and merciless. We were temporary tenants. The celebration collapses, and in that collapse, the world hums. Waves of devastation. Water everywhere. Oceans spilling into streets. Rivers breaking their banks. Floods devouring highways. They call it waves of devastation, but it's more than that. It's liquid inevitability. Patient, unstoppable, laughing quietly at our hubris. The episode talks about storm surges, floods, tsunamis, levee failures, but that's science. I hear the fever symphony beneath it, water dripping, sloshing, swallowing everything we thought permanent. I imagine walking on a cracked highway, asphalt twisted like old skin, the tide rising, carrying cars like driftwood. Houses float, roofs peeling, furniture bobbing in the currents. Bridges twist, collapsing mid-span, steel groaning like wounded animals, and the air smells of salt and rust, of mold and memory. Even the clouds above seem heavier, waiting, patient, dripping, like the sky itself knows we are gone. The episode catalogs destruction clinically, but hallucination is indeed alive. Streets become rivers, tunnels fill, subway stations drown, the wind carries the sound of waves crashing against walls, whispering you thought you could hold back nature. Fish swim through abandoned living rooms. Birds perch on rooftops as if they own the chaos. The water is patient, precise, beautiful, merciless. And yet there is poetry in it. Every ripple over the highways is a heartbeat of inevitability. Every shattered dock, every flooded park, every coupled car hums in slow motion elegy. The humans are gone. The infrastructure we worship is twisted and drowned. The floods claim it all, quietly ecstatic, leaving only water, wind, and memory. Waves of devastation, not revenge, not punishment, only entropy moving, slow and unstoppable, and the world hums. Hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Let me know your thoughts so far in the comments. Sky's the limit. Airports, planes, communication towers reaching in the clouds that no longer care. Sky's the limit. The episode shows timelines of corrosion, metal fatigue, structural collapse, but that's too neat. Reality is fevered, trembling alive with absence. The sky doesn't care about our ambition, our wings, our arrogance, it only hums and waits. I imagine wandering on a Crocs tarmac, the horizon full of frozen jets, wings sagging, engines rusting like dead hearts. Hangars collapse in slow motion, runways buckle, splitting like fissures in the earth. Radio towers twist into impossible angles, their wires humming a song of failed signals, and above it all, the sky stretches, patient, indifferent, endless. The planes are still, but they twitch. Fuselages groan like trapped ghosts. Windows crack, reflecting clouds that are no longer ours. Even the birds seem bolder now, circling through the silent, abandoned terminals, claiming the metal giants as purchase. The world hums with entropy, and I feel it under my skin, electric, impossible to shake. The humans imagine dominion. The humans imagined dominion over the skies. Flight was our pride, our dream, our signal to the universe. Look at us. We are clever, but the episode whispers the truth. Cleverness does not resist decay. Steel bends, engines rot, towers collapse. Everything that reached for the sky eventually kneels before time. And yet there is beauty in it, terrible, ecstatic beauty. Shadows of clouds glide across empty tarmacs. Rust blooms like flowers on a fuselage. The wind whistles through towers and fuselages, carrying a song we can no longer hear. The sky isn't a limit, it's a reminder. We were temporary, our wings rot. The sky endures, and the world hums. Depths of destruction. Beneath the world, beneath the streets, tunnels, subways, basements, sewers, they call it depths of destruction. But it's not just destruction, it's the slow unraveling of everything hidden, everything we thought safe. The episode charts decay, water damage, structural collapse, but reality is fevered, humming, alive in absence. Imagine walking through flooded tunnels, hard hammering, water lapping at the knees, rust blooming on metal rails like veins, trains frozen mid motion, doors peeling from their frames, shadows stretch impossibly long across walls slick with mold, pipes hiss, drip, leak poison we never even noticed, carrying messages in the silence. Rats and insects scuttle like tiny engineers, reclaiming every inch of space we thought belonged to us. The world under the streets moves on without us. Concrete caves and timber rots, and the earth itself presses inward, patient, unstoppable. The episode talks about timelines and collapse rates, but that doesn't capture the hallucination. Tunnels twist like serpents, shadows crawl, the hum of decay sinks through the pipes. The hidden spaces we built for safety become cathedrals of entropy. The water reflects fractured lights, rusted metal glows in faint phosphorescence. Mold blooms like frozen fireworks. Every basement, every subway car, every sewer pipe remembers us and mocks us. The humans are gone, the hidden world is alive, and the deeper you go, the louder it hums. Depths of destruction, not just physical collapse, but the reminder that nothing, not even what we bury, is safe from time. Entropy waits, and it sings its song. Take me to your leader. Capitals, courthouses, palaces of power, they call it. Take me to your leader. But the leaders are gone. The The episode shows empty halls, crumbling monuments, toppled statues, but reality hums differently. I can hear it in the wind rattling the shutters, and the twist of iron gates, and the whispers of rock crawling up marble columns. Authority without humans is hollow. It groans, it leans, it laughs quietly. I imagine walking through abandoned chambers, the air thick with dust and something electric, alive. The podiums stand empty, microphones sag like they're listening for ghosts, papers curl into dust, letters collapse, and the world hums in the absence of order. Rats and birds have moved in, tiny anarchists in places meant to control. Vines twist through windows, roots crack the foundations, and every monument kneels slowly under entropy. The episode catalogs decay with logic, timeline, structural failure, but the hallucination is fevered, vivid. The chandeliers twist like slow motion serpents, floors buckle, doors creak open as if the building itself is breathing, whispering secrets we'll never understand. Nature doesn't just reclaim, it mocks, it teaches, it hums. Every empty hall is a reminder power is temporary, control is fragile, leadership is meaningless without presence. And yet, there is some poetry in this. The world remembers us only long enough to mock us, and columns tilt, statues crumble, the wind whistles through broken windows like a warning song. The humans are gone, and the leaders are gone, and the world continues. Take me to your leader. There is no leader, only absence, only entropy, and in that silence, you guessed it, the world hums. Peace be with you guys.